Can't sleep tonight, so y'all gonna get a story from me. So I was a Marine. They say once a Marine, always a Marine. I don't know about that anymore. But when I was in boot camp, I went to San Diego, California, and first first of all, I was never an athlete by any means, so I fucking failed the PT, or what is it called? Whatever the first like trial is, like the mile and a half or whatever. I failed at that. I was like 3 minutes off or whatever. So I was in this failure like recovery platoon, and it was set up so all the injured people's racks were over here, and it was just like one bed, and then over here was all the racks of the able-bodied people, and it was like bunk beds, and I had a top rack like in front, so like I was very visible to the drill instructors and whatever. And I remember my favorite drill instructor at the time was on duty, and she was counting down, and I'm in just like socks, no shoes, and I was super motivated, and I wanted to like get shit done and impress my drill instructors, especially this one. She's my favorite, but she's counting down 49, 48, 47, 46, 47, like the way they count. And I make a mad dash, slip, because I'm wearing socks, and eat shit. The squad bay goes silent. She stops counting. And then I hear my fucking bunkmate, we'll call her Nelson because her name's Nelson. She just starts howling with fucking laughter. And I scramble to get my glasses, and I crawl up, and then drill instructor resumes 10, 9, like infinitely slower than she initially was going. And I'm just sitting there, and before they say break sheets, you just say, like, you lay down at attention. And so I'm just sitting there trying not to fucking laugh. And the drill instructor turns off the lights and is like walking around the squad bay, and as soon as she gets like near my rack, I couldn't help but I just go like, like there's so many times I broke bearing. Like, boot camp is crazy when like you're just online sitting there and like you think of a meme or something. Actually, here's one great story. So in the healing platoon, we had like a little knowledge game, and whoever won got to pick like 3 songs, and the drill instructor would play them. And if I sniff like that, it's not because I do nose snow. I don't have enough money for that, by the way. So if I go like, that's just how I go. But this one girl won, and as soon as her songs get over with, the drill instructor turns off the song, gets us on all online, and I guess she must have been on TikTok or something and didn't like disconnect her phone, because all we hear is 4 fucking seconds. It takes you 4 fucking seconds to piss me off. And like we were fucking dying. And she stood in the duty hut for a long time. Let's just say that. Boot camp is so great because like you get together with like all kinds of people of different ages and experiences. Like I made friends with like people who had totally different lives than me, married women, moms, like all kinds of people who already had been to college, dropped out of college, high school dropouts, even people who were homeless before the Marine Corps, like all kinds of people. I actually met this one woman, we'll just call her Sarah, that's her name, but like it's Sarah. Like how common is that? I'm not gonna be able to pick her out of a crowd, I mean, you won't. But Sarah, she was a very good friend of mine. Like we had when I I left the healing platoon or the recovery platoon, whatever. After I tested out for the 1.5 mile run, and I was only in the training company for 2 weeks until I broke my fucking toe. How lame is that? Like I broke my toe, and I I couldn't run. That's a different story I'll probably get to in a second. But this I Sarah and I, we had racks next to each other. Like we were such good friends. Like it was like such a I've never had like a lot of friendships last. Especially not like, I don't know, whenever I was growing up and had female friendships, it felt different because, I've always known I was trans in some way. So it didn't feel like, oh, we're girlfriends, like my gal pals. It did feel like something else. And I don't know. I don't know. It just felt like they treated me different, I guess is a better way to say that. Like I didn't feel different towards them, but I guess they felt differently towards me. Um, and Sarah and I, like we had that good relationship, like that female friend relationship, but like we would just like hang out after lights and like giggle and like, it was just like wholesome friends. But as soon as I told her that, at the time I didn't tell people I was trans, even though I knew I was, I just identified as a woman to the outside world. Um, and but people knew I liked women. Like I didn't label myself in boot camp, but people came to their conclusion that I was lesbian, which hey, I'm cool with being called lesbian, to be honest. Call me straight, call me lesbian, call me heterosexual. I don't care. But yeah. Once Sarah and a bunch of girls actually found out I was lesbian or a woman who liked women, they started treating me very differently. Even though they knew some of our drill instructors were lesbian or even like butch lesbian, and they didn't treat them differently or they didn't like feel weird about them. But when I was a butch lesbian, people treated me differently. And they spread a fucking rumor that I wrote like an erotica about one of my drill instructors. Like, all I, well, here's what happened. I wrote a poem to my girlfriend at the time, like a letter, because boot camp, you write letters. And it wasn't even like anything sexual in that letter. It was just like, I'm like, I miss you poem, I don't know. I don't know how you could interpret that. Like, I don't know. I guess telephone, maybe. A game of telephone was going around the squad bay. And people were spreading that to the point that the guide, in a platoon, you have a guide and then the squad leaders, 4 squad leaders. And the guide pulled me aside after or during a movie on the weekend, and she was like, hey, so people have been telling me, or like there's been things going around. And she was very sweet. That woman was very nice. And so I wasn't like shooting the messenger, but I was like, I mean, I think I know. I mean, I told Sarah, like, Sarah saw me, like, writing a poem. I told her about my girlfriend, you know? And yeah, I did have, like, an attraction to this drill instructor, but it never was, like, any further than that. Like, and at the time I was 19 and immature and very, like, unchecked in my BPD. So I was, like, blushy and like all these things, but like I never was like a creep, I guess, like I was just cringe and had a little crush. And so people kept spreading this rumor to the point I felt like I needed to talk to the drill instructor and get this sorted out. So I banged on the hatch and I told her, and I was just like, I don't I don't know where this came from, but I have a girlfriend back at home, blah 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 blah. Basically relayed what I told y'all. And she was like, it's okay to have, what'd she say, an idol. And I was like, okay, she knows. And yeah, it was just that, I didn't want it to be weird. I didn't want it to be awkward. I really just, like, I feel like what's my thing is, and I feel like I have a better grasp on this now, but at the time especially, I would fall into this trap of admiring somebody or looking up to them or aspiring to have some quality of theirs somehow, and then that manifesting into an infatuation that I would get confused with and like think I would think it's love or attraction, but it was just like obsession. And that ended up tricking me a lot, actually. That's why I even thought I was attracted to men. Like, I I identified as a gay man for a very long time. Like, I didn't even realize I liked women. Um, I thought for a long time I was like, okay, I'm sexually attracted to women, but uh, don't think I could develop a deep connection with one, you know? And that also has to do with the very bad experience I had in middle school where, yeah, I told this girl I had a crush on her, and, but like an hour before it, God, I'm everywhere. Basically, there's a girl in 8th grade who I was friends with. She knew I was trans, and I was like, okay, today's the day I want to ask her out or whatever. And um, like an hour before, I was like, "Do you see me as like a real man or a real boy, whatever?" And she's like, "Yeah, I do." And an hour later, I tell her I have a crush on her, whatever, whatever, and she's like, "Oh, I'm straight." Riddle me this, Batman. What is a woman who's attracted to men? Straight. I'm a man. So it's like at least just say you don't like me. Like you just be like, "Oh, I don't feel that way for you." Like cuz that's true. Like that's the truth. She didn't have a crush on me. So, I don't know. I I just wish people would be more honest and just tell you like that's why I like just call me a faggot, you know, or call me like whatever names you want to call me. Just don't like I hate like when people like my personality, but they can't look past like their bigotry. It's like you understand that you like me as a person and you enjoy the person I am and the how we have shared interest, whatever it may be, you know. You like me, but you don't like this one thing about me. Like why not just realize like every other trans person, every other lesbian, whatever, every other person with NPD, BPD, all the things that I whatever, every other person who's like me is a person like me. Like they have their personality traits that are different from that aren't related to their gender, sexuality, whatever. It's like we're people. You like me for me, so why can't you just like be okay with people like me being transgender, you know? I don't know. But yeah, in the boot camp, um in boot camp, I had a lot of friends who I got close with, but yeah, once they realized I liked women, I don't know. I've never been like straight, like passing, like I don't know. People always, I don't know how people can just be like, "Whoa, you're gay or whatever." I'm like, "Yeah, no shit." Like, it's not all the autism, but I've also had people say that I come off as like an awkward autistic Christian girl. I have pants on, by the way. Um, just so we're clear on that. But anyway, there's this one girl who I was friends with, and she had like this little boot camp book from someone who graduated or looking through it, and then someone saw the drill instructor I had looked up to in one of the pictures, and she was a part of a parade, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's drill instructor. And she looked quite different in that picture because she had longer hair and now she didn't have long hair. And I was like, wow, it's very, like, I wasn't even like, oh my God, you know, I was like, oh my God, that's so cool. I didn't realize she had long hair. And then we were looking at with another girl, by the way. And then this girl's like, you always like, oh my God, like, you know, it's like, I don't talk about her like a lot or anything. I'm just like, oh wow, like I respect, like I love her voice, like you know her cadence calling voice was amazing. Like I had actually a lot of drill instructors I would talk about their voice, so it's not even like particular to her. And then this chick just like walked to me and was like, oh my God. And then I look at the other woman and I'm like, what just happened? And I had another situation. God, I hate when me saying I had another situation like this sounds like, oh, Andy, you might be the problem. It sounds crazy, but like it's just the truth. But there's another time I was in this camp and I was in the broken part, like I still was healing, but I was mobile. So I was like sitting with my friend who was bed rest and I was talking about a home situation. Like I was talking about my dad and how, like, a funny situation where when he was 13, he went in to a baseball concession stand and, like, stole a bunch of fucking candy, and his mom, my grandma, worked for the school, and so did my grandpa as a coach, so, like, they found out, and I was like, "Ha ha ha, funny story," and, like, the police were called. Silly, like, oh my god. And then this other girl we're hanging out with is like, "You are so obsessed." And I was like, "What?" And she's like, "You know what I mean," and then looks at the duty hut, and I'm like, and I look at the other woman, I'm like, "I'm talking about my dad. Like, what?" And then she was like, I don't, it's been so long now, but it just make, it's crazy making. It really, really is. And I don't know. And that same girl, she told me some things. I guess she had her own issues, but she told me some things where she was like mouthing off to drill instructors and stuff, and like they let her get away with it. Like they would kind of be like, "Oh, she, like, you know, like, you have a mouth on you," like that kind of thing, but not like what a drill instructor should do. Now, if I said that shit, I would be like ITI ma'am, you know, like, but it's like. And she went through, a drill instructor fucking abused her. It was horrible. I don't, like, oh my god. Like, and it pissed me off because that drill instructor was someone I also looked up to. But, this woman who, had problems, let's call her Teresa. That's not her name. I genuinely don't remember her name. But Teresa, she had a shoulder injury and she wasn't while in the healing, or while in the training platoon. And she had a notice that was like, she can't be IT'd. She can't be doing push-ups, I ma'am, you know, just regular training. And this drill instructor took her to the whiskey, which is like the closet, the soap closet, and made her do push-ups until like her fucking shoulder gave in. And the senior drill instructor went in there and was like, "Get the fuck out of my house," to that drill instructor. So, and that, yeah. I guess when you're cooped up like that in a, yeah, when you're cooped up like that in the same platoon with people for 3 months, like, I guess it does make sense why we would go fucking crazy and be at each other's throats. So if I met any of these women now, I would probably be like, "Hey, like, I hope you're doing good," like, and see what they're up to, you know? But as it stood then, it was fucking crazy. It was crazy. And then, even though, I don't know, it just felt like I had a target on my back, but maybe I didn't. Maybe it was just, I hadn't worked out my NPD issues, so maybe I was just like, "Oh, everyone's out to get me," but they weren't. I don't know. But, yeah, that was my experience in boot camp. I was in there for 9 months, and it sucked. It graduated in, or on, April 25th or 26th, 2024. And I still have my blouse, but I cut it into a vest. Now, before you say, "Oh, that's disrespectful to the military," most Marines burn their shit when they get out. So, I threw out all my other stuff, like my dress blues and stuff, because I just can't look at my dress blues the same, after being groomed at the fucking homecoming, at the fucking birthday ball. Yeah. That's another story. I'll have to talk about how, yeah, the military will not give you justice, and I do not recommend anybody, but especially female people, to go into the military, because your fellow men will rape you faster than a foreign soldier. Like, if here's my advice to anyone who's like infantry, if you see another female soldier from like across like the world, I would trust her over your own fucking brothers. So there's that. But yeah, that's just mostly what I want to talk about. Can't sleep tonight, so after this, probably gonna make some playlist on Spotify just for fun. But good night. I hope you liked my stories.